Good morning. I'm Wolf from Healing Wolf Coaching, here to walk with you through the jungles of recovery. Let's take a deep, sunshiny morning breath in together through the nose, filling our chest and our belly at the same time so they expand as one. Hold it and then let it out slowly. Exhale through the mouth, slow. Squeezing all the air out. Feel that air leaving our lungs, and as the air leaves our lungs, the calm comes in. On a recovery journey and in life in general, a lot of people love to start a conversation with, "How are you?" And the typical response is, "I'm fine." That's pretty much a lie. It's just a social formality that I remember on my recovery journey having reactivity to that, because the negativity bias in my mind would respond with, "I'm not fine," because I knew that was the normal response, that was the polite thing to say when someone asked. And I also didn't feel comfortable saying I'm on a challenging chronic pain journey, which I was, and every day was a struggle to keep moving forward. So look at that in your own life when people ask you, "How are you?" How you might just say, "I'm fine," instead of getting real with people, which is considered uncomfortable. You have a couple of choices. You could either get real with people, or you could just be in your own power and say, "I'm moving forward." You could say, "There are a lot of things working for me." You could say, "Sun is shining, weather is sweet," to use some Bob Marley lyrics. There are a lot of things you can say that will shift your mind. It doesn't really matter. The other person is asking it just to be polite, usually. I mean, they usually don't want you to go into a long dialogue or a long monologue about what's happening in your life, and this is this way and this is that way, and I don't like this and I like that. That's all this dualistic stuff. They're just checking in with you. They do care enough to ask, so they probably do care about you. And they're saying, "How's it going?" They might ask about your family. They might ask about something that they know about you. We have in our minds this negativity bias, though, that comes in. It's always looking for what's wrong. So when someone asks, "How are you?" look for either what's right or look for a process. Like, "I'm moving through my day. I'm feeling like I can make it through this day," or "I feel like my legs are strong," even if it's something that is a contradictory statement to the way you've been feeling at times. Allow it to sink into unconscious mind. Say, "How are you?" "I'm strong." "How are you?" Sometimes people take a comedic angle and say, "I'm still kicking," or I'm 6 feet over ground, "I'm above ground," "I'm 6 feet above the grave," stuff like that. A lot of times in rural communities, they'll say stuff like that, a funny little thing to say. And so what I'm suggesting is, rather than get agitated when someone asks you, just what I used to say is, "I'm moving forward every day. I'm making progress every day. I'm working on some really meaningful stuff." Or some people say, "I'm living the dream," even if it looks like they're not, even if they're covered in struggles. The struggles have visited them for a while. Hey, I'm living the dream. It's just a funny thing to say. The point of this video is just to be aware when those social situations arise, that you can use them either to reinforce your recovery, or you can use them to fall back into negativity. And one of the principles that I preach and teach is to not allow the negativity to have a voice, to not allow your anxiety or chronic pain or illness or injury, whatever you're going through, to have a voice and to take power, from your voice. So when someone asks you how you doing and you say, oh, my leg, my knee, oh, been hurting me, oh, my head, or oh, the anxiety in my life, that's giving power to what you want to fade. You want to acknowledge it, quietly acknowledge it, even speak to it on your own, but giving it a voice of power, of complaining about how big it is, or how bad it is, or how hard it is, or how difficult, all that kind of stuff, just gives it that, it adds the negativity to it, and that increases its size in your unconscious mind, so that your unconscious mind then has this idea that it's a predator. And that's what we're unwinding. We're moving out of that. So in the comments, let me know what you say when somebody says, how you doing? Because I'm sure there's some funny things that people are coming up with, things to say. You can even just say, I'm rolling. You could say, I'm working, I'm laughing. Laughing is a good one. I'm still smiling. I remember in college saying something along the line, to my friend Jason and I used to talk about this. We would be bogged down with college work, with organic chemistry, and we'd be in the lab all day and then the library all night, just a lot of rigorous study. Then we'd both be working jobs at night. I worked in a psychiatric crisis unit, and he'd work at the drugstore as a pharmacy tech. So we would say to each other something along the line, in spite of constant challenges, I'm persevering in this life. And it was such a formal thing to say to each other. And I really look back and love that. So let me know what you're saying. Thanks for tuning in, listening, being here with me on my mission to help as many people as I can walk through the hell of chronic pain, anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, trauma, all that kind of stuff. Over at my website, healingwolfcoaching.com, there's a book, a free consult link where you can sign up to chat with me one-on-one. If there's something you'd like to ask me about your own recovery and you'd like to work with me, then head over there and sign up, and we'll strategize and find the best way through for you. And in the meantime, have a glorious day. It's super sunny, and hopefully you get outside today, take a deep breath of air, and feel how good it feels to have that breath moving into your body. There's always a good feeling somewhere, and we find it, and that's part of the recovery journey too. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for subscribing and following and all that thumbs up and heart and like and all that. I appreciate that. The way you're helping a wolf out on his mission to help you. I'll see you next time.